Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. WWE Friday Night SmackDown hits Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. tomorrow night. I spoke to Intercontinental Champion Gunther about his journey from Austria to nearly winning the Royal Rumble. Hey, Gunther. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on WTOP in Washington, D.C.
Oh, good morning, and thank you for having me.
We gotta say at the top that WWE SmackDown is coming Friday night to Capital One Arena here in DC. It's gonna be awesome. If you've never been to a live WWE show, you gotta go. It's so much fun, especially these live TV shows here that's gonna be airing on Fox. So let's go into SmackDown then. So I know last week Drew McIntyre challenged you to WrestleMania. Are we gonna find more on that tonight? Are you thinking about accepting it, or where do we stand with that?
I wouldn't say he formally challenged me. He appeared at least, but I'm not losing my thoughts over that now. I think let's see what happens this week. And we'll see where it goes. There's not much more I can say about it. I recognized his appearance. Let's call it that way.
Yeah, I believe your response was, get in line. Everybody wants to take on the Intercontinental Champion.
I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? So
you defended it so many times. So yeah, bring them on. Bring them all on. I know Cody Rhodes, the Raw superstar, is going to be coming over to SmackDown, and him and Roman Reigns are going to be, that's another reason to tune into SmackDown. I know Cody and you have some history here. That Royal Rumble, you had a record time in there, and then he gets to come in right at the end and eliminate you. What the hell's that about, man? Come on.
I mean, that's just how it goes, right? That's what makes the Royal Rumble special, I guess. It's on the one thing you can make yourself a legend by going from one till the end. But obviously there's somebody joining that match at number 30 that's like, I don't know, almost an hour after the first person joined it. So it's like a hard task. It wasn't enough this year. I say this the next time I'm gonna be in the Rumble match. I'm aiming for the win, definitely. But still, it was a special night for me. And also having that end bit in the ring with Cody, I was very happy about that. Because I think Cody's like an ideal opponent for me for the future. And I think it was good that we could give them like a 7-8 minute teaser at the end of what a match could be.
Absolutely. And what's the old phrase in wrestling? It's not who goes over, it's who gets over. And I think you got over with that long run from coming in at number one and lasting all the way to the end. I think it was a record, actually, at least for the Royal Rumble. There was like the greatest Royal Rumble, a separate pay-per-view that might have been a different record. But for the actual January Royal Rumble, you hold the record at, 71 minutes and change. So how did it feel how does it feel to know that you have that record?
Great. I didn't think about it at all before or during the Rumble match. That was not a thought that I actually paid attention to. But when I came out after that match, everybody was like, "Oh, you broke the record." I was like, "Which record?" Well, that's cool to have. I think it's one of those things in WWE when you have those performances that can literally have such a big impact on your career. And just putting another stamp in the history books with my name on is a rewarding thing to do.
Absolutely. Well, so we mentioned Cody's going to be on SmackDown, and so is, of course, Roman Reigns. We're previewing their big main event. Have you had a chance do you ever get a chance to step back and admire Roman's run and also just this masterful bloodline storyline? We actually had the Usos and Roman Reigns, and they came into our radio station like long before they became big stars. So it's been fun to watch their rise. But the whole thing with Sami Zayn and the bloodline, it's been so fascinating. Some of the best storytelling WWE's done in years. But do you ever get a chance when you're finally unlacing the boots to sit back and just enjoy it as, a great storytelling show?
Oh yeah, I would say so. That's usually I try to be really focused on what I do or what we as a group do on our stuff. But I would say if I make time to follow something, it's definitely whatever the bloodline does, because like you mentioned, I think it's fantastic. It's one of the best storylines the company has ever produced, I think. And it's just entertaining to watch, because I think of the happenings that go on there and that drama. I think everybody can relate to that. Everybody had a best friend before, everybody got betrayed before, and stuff like that.
Brothers and family members that fight. Everyone relates to that stuff.
Yes. And then having Sammy there as the clear outcast when it comes to that, and the underdog, I just think it's a great story. Yeah, and I'm excited to see where it goes, how that's gonna end. I think especially on Roman, there's lots of pressure now, and the pressure is just growing week by week. Yeah, but he's handling it like a champ. But we'll see for how long. I get the feeling that people desperately want to see him fall. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens at WrestleMania.
Yes, every pay-per-view, we I guess I don't call them pay-per-views anymore. Every Peacock premium event now, you think he's gonna lose and he keeps it. So, but yes, it feels like it's building, culminating, but we'll see at WrestleMania. Well, Bloodline's not the only exciting faction. You have your own. We got to talk about Imperium. Talk about Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. I guess I guess they're originally from Germany and Italy, I think. But
Yes.
how much fun is it with those guys? And I want to know how you guys coordinated the whole, the posture and the stand when you come out and you put your arms out and then you put them behind your back. It looks very like a general, like militaristic, like you guys are all on the same page, which I'm sure it's what you're going for. But how did you come up with that? It's awesome.
So that's the thing I can proudly say about us, especially Ludwig and I, because we're in the ring together for way over 10 years now. And Gio joined us basically in WWE and NXT. But at the end, it's exactly the same thing we've done in Germany before. Obviously, it got better, we developed and stuff like that over the years, and now we can show it at the biggest stage possible. And that's great. That's something you believed in and you stuck to it. It's just paying off over time. And yeah, it was just the idea behind it, ideology-wise, I would say the man is sacred and stuff. Ludwig's father, Axel Dieter, was a popular wrestler in Germany. He's passed away now. He was already a little bit older, but he was popular in the 70s and the 80s in Vienna and Germany at the tournaments. My parents used to watch Ludwig's father wrestle when they were young in Vienna. Yeah, they know, of course, they know him. And he would always be the one who would raise his glass and say, the mat is sacred. And we were inspired by that because he was still around in Germany. He was still around at the events we wrestled when we were nearby his hometown. He would still come around and tell some tales from the past and stuff like that. And we identified with that. So we just was, you know what, I think that suits us. We personally identify with that. So I think we should take that on board and express that in the ring as well.
Awesome. That's such a great story. That's so cool. And yeah, like you're mentioning, you were born in Vienna, Austria, I guess in late 80s. I'm a child of the 80s myself. So I'm curious, we over here grew up watching, Stone Cold and The Rock and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and all, Attitude Era. But what was it for you? Who were your favorite wrestlers growing up? Did you get to watch any WWF at the time, WWF?
Oh yeah, like the mid-90s WWF was very popular in the German-speaking countries. Bret Hart was a pop culture superstar in Germany. So everybody knew him. And I was able to watch like VHS tapes and stuff like that. But also when I was a kid, the tournaments in Vienna would still be going on. So my parents would take me there to watch it live. And then it was kind of like, I think that the late 90s, it got harder to really follow it in Austria and Germany. Because the TV rights must have changed or stuff like that. So that for a few years I had to dig really deep to get some material to watch. I would say it got better again 2003, 4-ish in that direction where it was easier to access again. And then I obviously watched it again. And then as soon as the internet arrived, it's available everywhere anyway.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad that you finally got to meet those here. You know, you're probably watching, Triple H on TV, and now you're working for him or with
Yeah,
him.
of course.
So I just to catch everyone up, you got signed by WWE in 2019, did a long run as NXT UK champ, and then the main roster in 2002. Do you have any favorite matches from the old Walter days before the Gunther namesake change?
Yeah, of course. There were a bunch of matches I really enjoyed. I think we'll just name the two obvious ones from NXT UK would be against Ilya Dragunov in the empty studio during COVID. There was we just fought for 40 minutes in front of nobody just for the cameras. But I think we've really benefited from that because it was a very physical match and very intense match, and there was no audience to make any noise or something like that. So the only vocals or audio that got created was by ourselves, but I think that really helped to get what we did across more. And I think the other one I would name would be against Tyler Bate in Cardiff for the NXT UK Championship. I think it was my longest singles match to date. It was like almost 50 minutes or something.
Oh wow, it's almost an
Um,
Iron Man match.
but that just naturally developed there, and I think there was a real roller coaster for the audience that night with a big heartbreak at the end. And yeah, I enjoy a big heartbreak. So
You've broken many hearts of your opponents too. Well, of course, then you joined SmackDown I guess last April. Gosh, it hasn't even been a year. Well, that's insane. The how much you've gotten over with the fans and so many great matches in such a short amount of time. But what was it like? Memories of beating Ricochet to become the Intercontinental Champion. I mean, that is like a stamp on the career. Like that is a title that everyone covets.
oh yeah, it is, but it's also a thing where it's like that's when the work starts.
Yeah.
It's not like something that you can rest on or something like that. For me, it was clear the moment or the day I won the Intercontinental Championship. That's like, okay, now it's on. Like now you have to make something out of this. Like it's on you now. And I enjoy those situations when there's a little bit pressure or even a lot of pressure on me or expectations. That's the challenge for me to fulfill that, or in best case, surpass that, if that makes sense. And I think it's always those, high pressure situations where you really grow.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you've carried that belt well. I think you broke Shelton Benjamin's record as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champ of the 21st century, at least. I know back in the day, people used to hold belts forever, but in this modern instant gratification era society we live in, the fact that you've held it for so long is really impressive. Right up there with what Roman's done with the big belt. I guess who all you've beaten? Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Braun Strowman. But to me, I think the big one, real quick before we run, I know we're on the clock, but that 5-star match against Sheamus at Clash at the Castle back in September, his chest was so welted up, all those hard chops. You're such a physical in-ring performer. But what was it like? Just that crowd, you guys had that crowd eating out of your hand. It was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, England in general has a fantastic crowd for wrestling. Or I should say the United Kingdom, because that event went down in Wales. But that's usually over there, it's a fantastic atmosphere. I really like it because it's really influenced by the football or the soccer culture. So their chants and stuff is always going to be like more in that direction.
Right.
That's something I really enjoy because it has that sports competition feel that makes sense. And yeah, the match itself was enjoyable. And I think Sheamus, that's the thing with Sheamus. He's a very physical wrestler as well, has a lot of energy, and that guy doesn't stay down. Like he's gonna come back at you, and he won't stop coming back at you. It was intense.
It's fight night, as they say. He is a brawling brute. You're a brawling brute yourself in your own way. I love the physicality and the realism of the matches. It just feels like it is a rough and tumble, a slugfest when you're out there. I love your style, man. Well, either way, whether it's Sheamus or Drew McIntyre, whoever you end up in the ring with WrestleMania, I know you're going to put on a great show. But first, everyone tune in this Friday for WWE SmackDown. It's in Washington, D.C. I'm sure tickets may be still available at Capital One Arena. Come check out Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, the ultimate badass who hopefully a long reign, sir. Hopefully you reign for a long time.
That's what I plan to do. But thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. And now all our WTOP listeners will be watching SmackDown. If you hit a big move tonight, if you want to shout us out, it's okay. Salute the hard camera, whatever you want. We'll WTOP. We'll look out for it. All right. All right. Thanks so much, Gunther.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.